Saturday. Christmas comes early.
Unbelievable! Welcome to this incredible scene.
Bills.
To the end zone!
Chargers.
It's a touchdown!
An exclusive NFL game.
That's fantastic!
Live in primetime.
Wow!
Only on Peacock.
With a Christmas gift to their fans.
They're having some fun now.
Bills versus Chargers. Saturday, 7:30 Eastern. Exclusively on Peacock.
'Tis the season to shine with H&M. Discover the holiday collection and find fashionable pieces for your wardrobe or for under the tree. Get inspired and dazzle with this year's glam. From tuxedo styles, bow detailed pieces, impressive prints, and more. From unforgettable looks to unforgettable gifts. With fashion finds to home decor, find it all at H&M. Treat your loved ones and yourself this season. Shop in-store or at hm.com.
Apple Gift Card is a practical gift that unlocks a world of entertainment and fun. You can send it via email or give a physical card to your loved ones. Your friends and family can spend it on their favorite Apple services, including Apple subscriptions. Apple Gift Card can be used to buy all things Apple. Products, accessories, apps, games, movies, TV shows, iCloud Plus, and more. Visit apple.com for details and to send Apple Gift Cards to your friends and family this holiday season.
The holidays are a time to feel and create joy. And what could be more joyous than the look on her face as she unwraps a stunning new jewelry piece from Blue Nile? How about getting 50% off your purchase? Blue Nile offers premium quality, priced below traditional retail. Their online experts are available 24/7 to answer any questions and make sure you've picked the perfect gift. For a limited time, you can get 50% off at BlueNile.com. That's 50% off at BlueNile.com.
My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. Give me beer, whiskey, wine or gin. Anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking.
Back at it again with another shade of blue. Cody and Thad are here. It is the morning after the 2-1 win over FC Dallas. We were planning on doing it after the game, and then immediately, I was already annoyed. I was already complaining about having to do this podcast after the game and be at the stadium until 1 a.m. And then the delay happened, and I said no.
Hey, why are you so opposed to doing late things, man? You're younger than the rest of us.
That's fair, but I got on a routine, man. You know my routine. I was working for a company in Europe, and my dog won't let me sleep past 7 a.m., so I get up early. I'm an early guy now.
Yeah, well, tough, man. You gotta live the life of the streaming and the podding.
Well, that's what I'm doing now. I have no real job, and I'm potting in the middle of the day. That's where we're at nowadays. So.
And I'm here with you, so that doesn't say much, man.
All right, just a couple unemployed guys cutting it up.
Hey, I'm employed. It's just I have flexible employment.
Okay, so 2-1 win. We were very worried that we missed two awesome games to talk about for sporting.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna jinx it because we didn't record after the last game, man.
Yeah. The long weekend. I was at the lake. It was just it just didn't line up. Couldn't do it in time.
Hanging out with St. Louis fans.
I was I was hanging out with St. Louis fans who I learned hate listened to our podcast to hear after the loss to them. Listen to the entire show to hear my tears. But we got to listen.
I'm okay with that. The more they hate listen, man, the more one penny we get.
I assume everyone is hate listening to us.
Not everybody.
That's my thing. I end up pissing people off all the time. That's my niche.
I won't argue.
That is what we're going for, right? I hope people come across. I hope that comes across. I don't like to say it out loud, but it's what we're going for here. We have a large crew of people, differing opinions. We need someone to be an antithesis. Yeah.
That's usually me.
That is whenever everyone else is in agreement. That is, yeah, you slide in there. But that's organic. You actually feel like that all the time.
I will sometimes take positions I don't 100% believe in because somebody needs to voice them.
Yes.
And I will always look for the opposition point of view.
That is a
So
pro at finding that.
when everybody thinks, oh, that was an obvious penalty or obvious not penalty, I will look for the reason it was or wasn't.
Yes, and I hate that about you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, so last night, they didn't disappoint. We had to work at it for the weather delay. Also, it looked like there was lightning about 5 minutes before the kickoff happened. So I'm not sure how that happened, but apparently it was far enough away.
Yeah, there's a distance thing.
Okay, we'll allow it. I'll allow it. 2-1 win. How are you feeling the morning after, Thad? The best
not
month,
bad.
the best month of a team in the month of May. 4-1-1, and all I get from you is not bad.
Second best.
Oh, second best. Okay,
Best in the West.
right. Yes.
Cincinnati actually had a better month, but
Yes, Cincinnati. Oh my God, they have 36 points. What is going on there? How did this happen, Thad?
they've been able to stir a lot of things with all those wooden spoons.
That's God. Wow, the wooden spoons have an effect. I never considered that.
Draft picks, money saved, all those things.
Building up a whole kitchen to become top of MLS.
Now they're cooking.
No. Oh my God.
Apparently it's dad joke noon, I guess,
Okay, well, well done with that one. Well done with that one. Now tell me how you're feeling after the 2-1 win.
Again, pretty good, man. It's the team is rounding into form that we thought they could be. There's still a lot to be seen. Is it a aberration or is this the new norm? They're getting one of the things that I know I've been saying in the past when they've been not good is they were playing a lot of road games. They didn't have as many home games. Now they're catching up some on the home games and they're getting points at home, which they really needed to do. And they're
Points.
Couple points out of a playoff spot at the moment.
Yeah, I was looking at the table last night, and just 1 month removed from where we were, that table looks infinitely better.
Yeah, not great because they're still out of the playoffs, and every team above them has games in hand except for Seattle. But
Yeah,
it's a lot better.
yeah, the games in hand is rough, and it sucks because that wave for us came at the most inopportune time. But we're still dealing with these injuries. More guys went down last night. The break will be welcomed, as I assume at some point. And our rivals, St. Louis, have to start playing games at some point.
And hopefully don't get as lucky in every other game at least.
Yes, you have to regress to the mean, right? Sporting did the same. They can't keep getting that lucky all year long. We can't keep getting that unlucky all year long. So that works nicely. And I know we still haven't really talked about the game, but we were on the table there, and the game this weekend, Vancouver, they're up in the meat of things up there. And if we're going to be climbing the table, there's a bunch of those teams we need to be leapfrogging by the end. And this would be a 6-point swing from a team that is in a playoff spot. We'd pull them within 1 point.
Yeah, when you say they're up in the meat of it, they're only 4 points ahead. They do have a game in hand, but they're only 4 points ahead. And they have been kind of back and forth, good, bad. And they also just got thrashed in St. Louis 2 games ago now. They won last night, but 2 games ago they got thrashed in St. Louis. And some really wonderful comments from their coach afterwards.
Yeah, I was going to say, you heard Vanny. That wasn't their fault. It was the refs. They lost because of the refs, remember?
Hey, the league and the refs owed them apology.
And what did he get? A fine.
Yep. We knew that one was coming. I listened to their post-game presser, a couple days later, and they even their own media is like, "Okay, we're going to start a GoFundMe for you now, Coach."
He's always unhinged. He's always making comments like that. Vermes does also, but Vermes just seems to be better at this, or he's got tenure in the league and they don't fine him as much.
He has been fined in the past, and I think he has learned how to walk the line of criticizing without going quite over that line too much.
Definitely. So one thing last night that hit me, it didn't even result in a goal or anything, and I know that it was, we've realized this already, but Dany Rosero, we have a guy that can head the ball. We have that
Yep.
guy that is in the box that is hungry, that will push and shove and thrash and do whatever it takes to get his head on the ball. And we often cite Iko Para as the last guy that we had that could head the ball in the box. He didn't even have the ferocity that Rosero has, that way he goes with the ball. And yes, he got a foul. He just straight up shoved someone over, and it resulted in a foul in the last game. But no, that is a hunger and a drive that this team has lacked in the box for so long.
Well, last night pushing guys over really wouldn't have been a foul because I think 9 out of 10 times it wasn't
It
called.
was a free-for-all last night.
I've never understood there's certain refs that you can literally just go up and push a player while they're running and it's no foul.
I think he actually did get called. I think the play I'm thinking of that I had this epiphany with him, I think he actually was called for a foul, doing the exact same thing that I'm praising him for. But no, it is just there's a hunger and a drive that we haven't seen in the box before.
No, I think you're right on that, man. He's got that I don't know, X factor, that ferociousness, that hunger, like you said, and I appreciate it. He made one block in the box. Somebody was crossing it, and he was like full extended out. I hopefully we'll have a good photo of that later. But
yeah, he's got the look, and I think it's easy to forget how new he is to the league. He's still only played like a handful of games, and I think he's just going to continue to get better. And while watching the highlights of the Portland game, I am still a Fonte stan, the nicest man you'll ever meet, beautiful family. I will never say a bad word about him. But
great guy.
The idea of signing another stud center back in the summer window gives me all sorts of feelings inside.
July 5th, man, window opens.
And again, yeah, Fontes is not bad. I think our center backs are a very MLS center back pairing. I know you hear a lot like, Fontes sucks, he's where they can't do anything.
Yeah.
I think he's an MLS center back. Like I'm sitting here saying I'm a stan. I love him, great passer, Barcelona product guy. I love all of that.
Again, he doesn't get the credit that he deserves. Like you said, he's a good passer and all that stuff. But he also, one-on-one, made some very good defensive plays yesterday. If you're counting on him to outrun Jesus down the field, yeah, you're counting on the wrong guy. But you don't need every guy to be fast. You don't need every guy to be a great passer. You need that combination of players that works. Right now, it's working.
Yeah, it's just enough. And I say they're a very MLS pairing because if there is an MLS center back that is not having a bad moment every couple games, that guy is going to be bought and sold to Europe at some point.
Right.
We are MLS. We are not one of the top leagues in the world. Center backs are going to get beat. There's good attacking players. Center backs are going to look silly. And Fontes did. He had some passing is his best thing, and he did have some bad passes last night. But yeah, he the one-on-one defending he can do. There are just those moments. His slowness you can see his slowness at times. And yeah, that definitely comes into play. All that being said, holy crap, if we got a stud center back, somebody better than Rosero.
That would be expensive.
That would be expensive, and this team would be really solid.
I also, but just looking at these last few home games, right? So 2-1 win, 4-1 win, 3-0 win. They've only given up 2 goals in the last 3 games. And again, against teams that were all above them in the standings. So that defensively at home, they're doing fairly well.
It's conveniently leaving out of the 4-0 loss, but yeah.
Well, no, now I'll go on the road. 4-0 loss, 1-1 draw, 1-0 loss in Houston, but that was the Open Cup, and a 2-1 win against Seattle. So the aberration being St. Louis, the 4-0 loss, but again, weak penalty to begin with. Second goal probably shouldn't have been because of a foul. We can rehash that. And hey, St. Louis, if you'd like to hate listen and give me a few more pennies, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
But again, they've only given up a couple goals on the road. The Houston game was a different lineup and that Open Cup, but even then wasn't terrible. They couldn't get a goal, but the defense wasn't terrible on the road. So
Okay,
defensively,
but
it's not been bad.
It hasn't, and I agree with you there. But imagine if Fontes was the third center back. Because after the two of them, you can have your problems with Fontes if you want, but the drop off after the two of them is quite large.
Castellanos has been at times pretty good and at times a USL center back.
Yeah. Same with Volater.
Yeah, which he seems to be a MLS Next Pro guy at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, he is playing every game for SKC too. Or most of them.
Yeah, I know he's done at least I don't know if he did the last game, but he did the couple before that.
Okay, let's talk about Gadi Kinda.
Good
Scored
Gotti.
the first good Gadi.
Sorry.
Scored the first goal, and I thought he was actually playing poorly in the game. He was a step off the first 5 times that he touched the ball. The touch was off, the pass just missed. He wasn't playing well up until that point, and then that ball fell for him, and he smashed it home. And I guess that's all you need is one of those players.
Well, the beauty of that particular goal, Shallowy gets it down. He does the cross. Everybody complains that all Sporting does is crosses the ball through the middle, and often there's nobody there to do it, put it home. But I think there was 4 players running into that box, and
They missed it.
Polito to the near post. Janice was coming in. Tommy, I think, was the other one, and Gotti coming in from the backside, which is exactly what you needed. I mean, it's hard to be perfectly timed for any of those passes. Even the best, you can watch the best teams in the world do that same sort of thing, and guys will miss it because it's just not perfectly there. But you solve that problem by having 2, 3, 4 runners. It helps you, and that's exactly what they had. And they had like 4 runners coming into the box, and voila, there's a goal.
So do you think that's a change from what they had been doing previously in the season? Or isn't that just always what the theory is of what they're supposed to be doing, and the crosses just miss people?
Well, it's what they're supposed to be doing, yes. But early in the year, during the bad times, especially as their confidence got lower, I think they weren't doing it. Maybe one runner comes into the box, and now that pass has to be absolutely perfect.
Yeah, I agree. And where I was going with that is Sporting has always been open to counterattacks, and I think that is a reason why. And yeah, maybe they weren't doing the perfectly timed run into the box like they always were, and instead they were just left jogging or flat-footed like on the outside of the box, which still ends up as a counterattack opportunity if they don't do it.
And I do think you're right, they may not have been crashing as much because they were worried about the counter. Now you got a little bit of speed back there, guys defending better, and Six who's playing it a little bit better than perhaps others were. And you feel a little more confidence to go into the box. Or you got guys who are just, screw it, do it. F it, I'll do it myself kind of thing, right? They'll just go in and crash anyway.
You mentioned the number 6. I want to talk about Nemanja Radoja. He's playing well. He's fit right in. Obviously, the wins, the results speak for themselves. In watching him, I think that he's being used differently than, say, Ilie in that spot. It seems like he's less central. I think Vermes' view of that position is the Ilie guy, that the attack starts from him, that it almost always has to go through him. And I don't see them using Radoja like that. He's there, he can fill in a gap, open up space, do a one-touch pass, and they can build through him, but it definitely feels like he's less central to getting the ball forward than we have in the past. And at least in the game last night, they started off right from the start, everything was down the left. as opposed to trying to go up the middle.
Well, one thing with Radoja, I think, is he's a wee bit more mobile than Ilya.
Yeah.
Love Ilya, and he was a fantastic player for Sporting and fantastic player for LA. Love him, and he's always welcome come on the pod at any time. I just think he wasn't as mobile, so he's been more successful with LA when they've been more of a double pivot. The couple times I've seen him as the single six, they were not as effective. So I just think with Peter not wanting to do the double pivot kind of thing, that he became less effective for us. Where Nemanja is a wee bit more mobile. I'm not saying he's like the fastest guy out there, but he is not slow. So he's been getting more mobile and been getting to the better places.
Yeah,
I think that might be
in the comparison to Ilya, which makes sense. Radoja's maybe more mobile and not as brilliant of a passer. Not that he's bad, but it's that was Ilya's strength. And where Ilya was just the exact opposite. Barely mobile and an amazing passer. So yeah, I think that does. He slides right in to where in LA he can just kind of sit there. He can sit in the spot he needs to sit in front of the center backs, and there's less of the physical requirement of getting up the field than there is in Vermes' system.
Yeah, I don't know that I would. I'm not sure how you said it there, but that he's not as mobile, or Ilya is barely mobile. I would definitely argue that.
Yeah,
that
was a knock on him.
That was a little harsh there
Ilya
for
slander,
a friend of the pod, man. Come on.
So yeah, I make people mad. That's how I do it.
Yeah, damn you. Earlier in the year, not that long ago, but Vermes had compared Nemanja to a former Sporting D-mid of Sony Mustavar.
Oh, yeah.
And Sony was not a great passer. Again, not terrible, but not the speedy guy, or not the super playmaker guy.
Not a Barcelona.
He was fast.
Guy.
He was a destroyer, that kind of guy. And I see Nemanja somewhere in between, actually.
Yeah.
He's not maybe as destroyer as he was. He's definitely not the passer Ilya is, but he's a very effective six. And again, Sporting, the way Peter's system works, everybody has to play their role and has to play it well. When one or two pieces of it starts falling apart, you can slide different guys in and you can kind of cover that a bit. But if they're not playing up to what Peter wants that system to play, a guy can look good but not contribute to the system winning, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you said a guy can look good. You were basically talking the exact situation of Remy Voltaire. He was playing there. We thought it was like working fine. But
he was not a bad six in that role.
Yeah. But I think, like you said, Radoja is clearly very effective. And I think it's kind of an unsung situation of some stability in the midfield and a guy that does know that exact role, where Remy's not going to be able to help, like him wanting to go forward more, him wanting to take those long shots. Like you can see on his face he's longing for those second balls to drop to him after a corner so he can boot it. So, yeah, I think Radoja is very effective in this position, and I think it's changed so much in the midfield where we were just getting absolutely dominated on all three positions. We just could do nothing in the midfield, and even though he is not making the headlines and doing all of these big things, I think he is that's been a big key back there.
And with again, Radoja, he may not be as much of a destroyer as Mustavar was or somebody like that, but he has enough physical to get there and make those stops. Where when you don't have the guy doing that, somebody else in the midfield has to do it.
Right.
Roger Espinoza or a defender has to do it. And now you're taking guys away from their best roles, their best lives. And with how Nemanja has been doing it, it's freed up Kinda, Tommy, Voltaire, Felipe Hernandez when he came in, those guys to do what they need to do. And I know Peter said this about Felipe when he came in the Portland game and scored that goal. Previously, when he's played, he's had to try to do 2 or 3 guys' roles or, cover more ground. And when he came in that last game in Portland or against Portland, he was just able to be a midfielder 8-10 kind of guy. And what happens? Roger breaks him free. He scores a goal.
What a pass from Roger.
What's that?
What I said, what a pass from Roger. And
Yeah.
on that note, how about 30-minute Roger Espinoza? 30-minute, $86,000 Roger Espinoza is a revelation.
This is what Roger and Graham should have been doing
Yes.
the last couple of years. And just because of various injuries, various other reasons, they've been played more than they should be. I think Peter knows exactly what they need to be right now. And he's been playing Roger as a sub when he has the players to do so. When he's got enough midfielders, he plays him as a sub. And he comes in and he kills it, man. And Graham switching off with Jake has been really pretty good. Helped them get the win against Portland. Not so much last night, but
You mentioned the Peter Vermes system, and when two things in that chain are not working, then the whole thing can kind of fall apart.
Right.
And that it is obviously, you're dead on there. And Sporting, so that this is something that the Vermes out people, fire Vermes people, that's a legitimate argument there. Sporting Kansas City for the last decade plus lives and dies by the Peter Vermes system. When it works, it works. But the downfall of that is just like you said. When there are two kinks in the chain missing, then the whole thing can fall apart.
and it's one of the things I've said over the last few years is that the strength and weakness of Peter is how consistent he is.
Yeah.
That system, again, you can't say he doesn't change things because he does change certain things within the system for particular games and things like that. But the system, the basic formation, the basic system is going to be pretty much the same. They're still going to be susceptible to certain types of situations because that's how they play it. But it has been the strength and weakness. The strength is that everybody knows what their role is. They don't have to I'm playing a different role or different formation today. They know what their role is. The weakness is so does everybody else.
Exactly. From a wide angle view, like generally speaking, it does feel like Vermes has in the last few games changed things a little bit. Even if it's just like the number of subs.
Yeah.
For instance, we're seeing Janice regularly, and it seemed like he was one that just could not find the field. Do you think? Go ahead.
Well, we've seen him primarily starting because Johnny's been out.
Right.
But last year, he did play almost every game, but as a sub, 10, 15 minutes.
Last year. But even at the beginning of this year when Johnny was out, Janice was still finding it hard to get on the field. Kyrie was getting that nod instead, And then we were just talking about Felipe getting to come in. I don't know. It seems like he is using more subs in the last few games. So if you'll go with me on that one, do you think that is because he recognized a change must happen within himself, like he recognized errors of his ways, or is it just exactly what we've been talking about, and all of these players have come back, and now he has versatility, and he can use these guys in the way he wants to use them?
I will say 90% of part 2 and 10% of part 1.
Yeah. Okay.
Because he's
10%. I'll
used,
take that.
What's that?
10%. I'll take that.
I'm pretty confident, and to be fair, I want to actually ask him this when maybe not in a presser where it goes to everybody, but I'll ask him that question. But I'm pretty sure if you ask him that question, he'll say, "No, I just have the players now that I need to have."
Yeah.
And he also has a little more confidence in some of those players, and that they can come in the roles that he wants them to come into. Like I was talking earlier with Felipe, if you want him to come in and play the right back, that's not his thing, right? But you can get him to come in and be in the right spots, and it's success for him, it's success for everybody. I just make the joke about right back, obviously, because of Kyrie last night.
There we go. I was waiting for it.
Yeah, I saw a lot of comments about, hey, we found Kyrie's new role.
And there's an argument to be made that he could do it again this weekend with everyone hurt and tired.
I imagine Jake will probably play the full 90. at that spot unless he gets hurt. So
Yeah.
which, hey, positive, KP was in practice last week.
Okay, that's good. That is good to hear that.
I think he was playing a neutral, so that usually means that you're just working your way back in. And
Remind me what his injury was.
it was a hamstring.
Yeah, I can't mess around with the hammies.
It's when you pull one, it can come back real easy.
What else are we missing from this game? Daniel Shalhoub got another goal. Was that deflected? All of the angles, MLS angles on reviews or on highlights don't do it for me. We need those Premier League angles. But it just, I don't know, the way, the pace on it just looked like it might have taken a deflection. But
I did not see a deflection in that live, and I did not see it on replay. So now you say that, though, man, I'll take a little closer look.
the only reason I say that is because Daniel just, I mean, he puts his boot through it and smashes the ball. And that, I don't know, it could just bounced across the line. And I don't know, it didn't look right in my head. He normally swings and just puts his boot through it, and it goes through the back of the net. But
Yeah. I think we said something earlier about Polito and needing him to score some more, but he had a couple of good opportunities last night. That just reminded me of one because they had that restart that was on the south end in the second half, and he took that one, and I think it was pretty darn close, wasn't it?
he did have, there was one play that I was like, he should have scored that.
Yeah.
But that's going to happen. MLS, right? We use that excuse again. We're just MLS. We're not the Premier League.
Yeah, because guys in Premier League never miss those shots.
Right.
But yeah, on that restart though, they did the guy laying down behind the wall thing, and it was.
And did you probably don't have the right angle, but us in the press box, I don't know if it was Jesus Ferreira, I think was the one laying down. He was so far behind the line. I not that this is even that interesting, but it was to us in the press box. I don't know. Normally the guy lays down behind that line, and his back is like resting on their heels. And Ferreira was like 5 feet behind them. It was a weird thing. He could have got it under the wall and over Ferreira laying there.
That would have been pretty cool, actually. That should be a tendency they should look for, Maybe they take that shot. But I bet it's because he's been like right on the wall before and got landed on by somebody.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Because I was on the south end shooting at that point, and when they were setting up the wall, I saw Jesus like lay down on the ground and kind of like be up on his elbow, kind of looking around like, do I have to do this? He had that face like, oh man.
When they're picking their best player to do it, I saw Messi do it one time for PSG, but that was notable. Like, it was weird. Is you making Messi be the lay down guy?
Plus, he wouldn't like be the length of the wall.
That's also true. Ferreira's kind of short also. That is a very weird choice.
Yeah, but I guess like you're not going to have like your tall center backs do that. So
yeah. All right, Thad Bell. What else have we not covered? Talked about the game. Kind of talked about Vancouver this weekend. An opportunity to really pull the reins back on the middle of the table of MLS. This would be a really big 3 points. I think we're just going to end up saying that the rest of the season because they need to win all of these games to get to the closer to the top of the league.
If they win all their home games and pick off a few points here and there on the road, they're in the playoffs, I would say. But they have to do it. They haven't proven that they can do it all season. So it's
so one thing I'll leave you with, because I know our listeners are all rational and they know and they're very responsible and they don't get too excited or anything.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Now that after these 3 games, let's just say the whole month of May, I was guilty of this as well. You can't blame anyone for feeling like this, but just go back to when the first goal for Portland went in. You were feeling good going into that game. Things are looking better. And then that goal went in, and it just all came back immediately. Like Portland scored 1 goal, and it was just like, oh my God, here we go again. We're so terrible. And then the same thing kind of happens in this game last night. Even after a 4-1 win, oh shit, we're playing great. I like this team again. And then there was a goal that was called back for offsides, or a ball hit the post, or Fontes didn't look that great for a moment. And then you can't help. Again, I'm guilty of it too. I think everyone was guilty of it, where it's just that one moment happened and we're PTSD from how terrible the start of the season was, that we just go, oh my God, we're still terrible. Why did we think we were good? So I want to leave you, Thad, with the idea that I think we know the team is not as bad as they once were. I don't think we're the best team in the league, but I just want you to be able to take a goal or a bad moment from this team and not just dive back into this, the world is collapsing on us. I think that we have a better team now. They can give up goals. They will give up goals. Some people will look bad. Fontes is going to look bad at times. But I think I am confident enough now that I'm no longer going into a horrible, horrible dark place for these bad moments or goals conceded.
So I just have one question. You said you were feeling really good going into the Portland game. That was right after the 4-0 loss in St. Louis.
I know.
You're feeling good about that?
Yes, I still was. The team was playing better. Actually, I didn't even have a thought going into that game because I was at the lake and not paying attention.
Honesty.
But the team was playing better before. You felt better going into the St. Louis game about the team. So yes, I'm just saying, at least now after these last two games, we've seen that the team can win. And yeah, I had that feeling in the game last night, and I'm just hoping that now after some of these results, this whole month of them playing better, that we can get past that. I won't have that feeling when someone looks bad on the back line or Kendall McIntosh comes off his line like an insane person for some reason. It's just one play. We can still win the game.
They can still win the game. It's very possible.
I'm trying to teach you to be a good fan today, Thad. That's what I'm doing here. Support the team.
I've been supporting the team since '96, man. Piss off.
Okay. Anything else here before we?
That was
get
very
out of here?
prophetic, wasn't it?
That was the prophetic way that we can end this podcast. Although I was gonna let that go, but I was supporting since '96 too, my friend. I was a bright-eyed, bull-cutted, red-headed child in the stands in '96 for Digital Takawira's. Was it a brace? He scored two that game, I think.
You don't remember?
He hit the crossbar. I sometimes put that crossbar shot and the goal into an amalgam, and it was just as awesome as a goal. So I'm going to say he scored a brace, and I remember every moment of that game as a 6-year-old.
Yeah, right.
Prophetic. Okay.
So,
final thoughts here, Thad. How do you feel? Are you feeling confident about the Vancouver game? Leave us with that.
I feel relatively confident, yeah. They got to go up and get a result, man.
Oh, I love when I throw things to you and that cadence of your response. Yeah, I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, just like I talked earlier about Peter and the system, and you're going to get what you get, right? You're consistent, the good and the bad. It's the same thing you're going to get with me, man.
You'd think I would learn this after 6 years of doing this podcast with you.
About the only way you're going to really get me going a whole lot faster on this sort of thing is when I just devolve into a rant.
Right. I'm gonna develop this. I'm gonna figure out how to get content out of your lack of content answers. When you just give me yeah, they should be pretty good, or yeah, I'm pretty excited.
Yeah,
I'm gonna figure out a way to turn that into content and be funny.
I hope you do, because then we probably earn more money.
Yeah, because we don't earn any right now.
Yeah, well, hey, by the way, so if anybody wants to sponsor,
when are we going to see some ads on the site? We're still not getting any ad revenue from our current site, and I'll tell you right now, there's 8 million ads on the site. Why aren't we getting any money from it?
Yeah, I gotta figure that part out, but we'll go get there. But hey, we get a little bit from the pods now, so
yeah, please do that. And yes, while we're on this, we're in a weird situation here where it's like we want listens on the pod, we want our downloads there, but we are also trying to grow the YouTube channel. So even if you are not one that wants to consume our show with video, we would very much.
And with this face, I don't blame you.
We would very much appreciate a subscribe and a like on a video every now and then. That would help us out a lot. But yeah, if that does interest you, we're going to try to be doing visual gags as well. It's not just going to be half of Thad's face in the window like a boomer in a Zoom chat. We're going to try to do visual things and give you something there. So, and we also have another video person that more video content is coming. So go give us a subscribe there, and as always, subscribe, rate, and review wherever you get your podcasts.
I agree.
Sport Day!
The other side don't seem so tough, and 3 own goals ain't all that rough. Our skipper has just been sent off. Supporters strong have all gone soft. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. Give me beer or whiskey, wine or gin, anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking.